Okay, good morning. Thank you all for joining us this morning. Lieutenant Governor Kim Reynolds is attending an energy conference in Germany this week, and Libby Jacobs, who's the chair of our Iowa Utility Board, is accompanying her. So that's why she's not with us this morning. But today I'm excited to announce Iowa's participation in CNBC's Top States Twitter Battle. Iowa will be battling for the title of the top state in the nation on Twitter, and all Iowans on Twitter are encouraged to use the hashtag TopStatesIA to assist in our promoting Iowa as a great state and a great place to do business. In addition, CNBC offered each governor's office an opportunity to record a video and submit it as part of the campaign and showcase what makes our state great. We're excited to launch this promotional campaign because Iowa has a dedicated, hardworking people and some of the best employers in the country. Lieutenant Governor Reynolds and I hope that Iowa comes in strong in the top states ranking this year. Now let's look at the video that my office has produced. It's short. We'll show it here. I'm going to go around and sit in the front row.
Have you seen this yet?
I've seen it once. Spent some time with your brother. Yeah. He gave us a really good tour, and then we visited it used to be Betty's.
It's like mine.
It's been many years since I've been there. So.
I'm Terry Branstad, Governor of the great state of Iowa, and here's why my state should get your vote on the CNBC Top States Twitter Battle. Iowa is a warm, welcoming place where people are still proud to treat you with respect and dignity. My goal for Iowa is 200,000 new jobs and to raise family income by 25% over the next 5 years. The only way to achieve this ambitious goal is through less government red tape and lower taxes. And our state budget spends less than we take in every year. Businesses need that stability and predictability in order to grow. We created an innovative public-private partnership for business development. Iowa's innovation economy is forming hundreds of startup companies each year. Iowa is a right-to-work state, and we're proud of it. Iowa has some of the top places to start a business or a career. We are a net exporter of both agriculture products and energy. And so if you're in tech, bioscience, insurance, financial services, or manufacturing, or have the next big idea, our door is always open. I'm Governor Terry Branstad from the great state of Iowa, and that's why you should vote for my state in the CNBC Top States Twitter Battle.
Okay, that's it. It wasn't expensive, but we had a lot of fun doing it.
Iowa is a net exporter of energy?
Oh, yeah. You know, we are a net exporter of energy. That's the big transformation that's taking place because of ethanol, biodiesel, and wind energy. You know, it used to be we were a big importer of energy, and now we're an exporter. We actually produce more ethanol than we consume in gasoline in Iowa. So that is something that is very important for people to know. The Twitter battle runs in conjunction with CNBC's America's Top States Business Annual Ranking Show. This is a yearly ranking of all 50 states based on measures of competitiveness. The measurements are separated into 10 broad categories with input from business groups, including the National Association of Manufacturers. Since taking office in January 2011, the Lieutenant Governor and I have been working hard to create a strong and prosperous business climate in Iowa. While we have made great progress in these last 18 months, there still is work to be done to make Iowa even more attractive for businesses. First and foremost, businesses need stability and predictability in order to grow. That comes from our smart state budget practices, which include spending considerably less than we take in, getting rid of unnecessary government red tape, and reducing our high commercial property tax burden. One of my primary goals is not only to create 200,000 new jobs, but also to raise family incomes by 25%. And I'm proud of the fact that last year, Iowa's personal income growth was second highest in the nation at 6.8%. But businesses need more than just a competitive tax climate and predictable regulatory environment to grow and prosper. They need educated and skilled workforce. And you know, we recently announced this initiative, Skilled Iowa. We're working with people like Bill Knapp and Jim County and many private sector businesses in a partnership to help people improve their skills to meet the jobs that are already out there. That's why I'm renewing my call also for bold reform of our education system so that our schools are doing the very best in the nation and are truly world-class competitive in this world economy. We have made a lot of progress in our state, and I want to continue to working every day to make Iowa even more competitive. So today we're asking all Iowans to come together for this great cause, use the hashtag #TopStatesIA to promote our state. Thank you.
Didn't Iowa rank #1 in this ranking?
We ranked number 9 last year, but we were 1 in cost of business. That's 1 of 10 factors. I'll go through those factors. Cost of business, workforce, quality of life, economy, infrastructure and transportation, technology and innovation, education, business friendliness, access to capital, and cost of living. And when you factor all of those in, we ranked number 9. Last year, Virginia was number 1, Texas was number 2.
It seems like they had Governor Culver on there, maybe in 2010, because Iowa was #1.
Well, it might have been in one of those factors. I don't know. So I think I remember from the debates he touted the ranking on CNBC, and that's fine. But we're saying we got to continue to work to be as competitive as we can be, and we're excited about that and appreciate the opportunity to participate.
But is there a message if we were #1 and now we're 9 that we're slipping?
No. The fact is, there are 10 different categories, and we're trying to improve in all of those categories. So just choosing one of those categories, I don't think is adequate. We need to really look at the whole picture and all that we can do to make the state more competitive. And we'll see. You know, it's a very competitive environment out there, and there's a lot of other governors that are working hard too to try to make their states more competitive.
Aren't those rankings kind of subjective? I mean, Iowa might
Yeah,
rank
they
them.
are, and that's the reason why we're telling people, get on Twitter, and we know what it is. It is what it is. But the fact is, there are a lot of business people that watch it. So if we can help our state by getting people involved in an exciting way like this, let's do it. And hey, I know it's just like a phone-in survey, okay? It's not scientific. We recognize it, although there are some factors that they do consult with people like the National Manufacturers Association to get their input. So, you know, I think we need to take it seriously, but I think we need to recognize it for what it is. It's just one of many, and there are a lot of them out there, but it's kind of a fun thing, and we thought, hey, why not? Let's, we don't know where we're going to end up, and we're willing to take the risk to see what we can do and try to motivate Iowans to get involved and go on Twitter and vote for our state.
Was this all done in-house?
Yes, it was all done in-house. So, I don't know if anybody wants to comment on it further?
No.
Does anyone want to take credit for it?
Yeah, I
Depends on where you're going with your question.
Great team effort.
Our communications people probably deserve the most credit. Tim and Caitlin played the biggest role in this, but you know, we had a lot of people who were involved in it. I mean, Tim has got this little, what was it? Was it just a phone camera, or what you're using? We're going down the road that you
just use this one. Yeah.
Yeah, we're just using that little camera right there, and we're doing it.
Put about 5 days notice.
Yeah, so we did all this in 5 days, and we did it in-house. So we're not saying it's professional, but you know. Anyway, it was fun.
Earlier this morning, Senator Hatch and a gentleman from Mercy Hospital held a news conference to make the argument that if you did expand enrollment in Medicaid, that it would save premium payers and hospitals who are currently picking up charity care for people who are uninsured.
Okay, let's really look at this thing realistically. You've heard me say, you know, the Medicaid expansion adds 150,000 adults to the Iowa Medicaid roll. We already have 400,000 people on it. Medicaid is the most expensive entitlement program. The cost to the state is already $1 billion, plus there's several times that amount in terms of federal dollars. The federal government right now has a $16 trillion debt, and they're going to embark on adding $17 million, 17 million people to a new entitlement program. Just 150,000 in our small state, where we have a much smaller number of uninsured than most other states. I think this is clearly unaffordable and unsustainable. Anybody that's looked at the federal budget situation, and things that makes this even more scary is this. The federal deficit is being financed with rock bottom interest rates right now. You know what how the Federal Reserve has got these interest rates down at like 1%. Guess what happens when it goes to 5 or 6%? When you have a $16 trillion national debt, the debt cost to the federal government goes up $160 billion for every 1%. So starting in 2014, who realistically thinks the federal government's going to be able to afford to do this? And yet, if you buy into this, then it's kind of like it's one size fits all. It's kind of like no child left behind. You're stuck with the federal rules. I would prefer that we do it the Iowa way. That's why we've embarked on a whole new public-private partnership called Healthiest State in the Nation. And we want to work with the hospitals. We want to work with the medical schools. We want to work with the health care provider community and the insurers. And we want to work with the citizens for people to take ownership of their own health. And the state is willing to come in and assist in that. But we are not, I think it would be a big mistake to buy into a federal straitjacket that we know we can't afford and they can't afford.
So what is your goal in terms of getting 80 to 150,000 people who do not currently have health insurance
We have
covered in some way?
We've had a working group that's been working on this for a long time. We think buying into a federal Cadillac program we can't afford doesn't make a lot of sense. But we think the state of Iowa working together where we can get people to take some ownership, and I think everybody ought to have some skin in the game. They ought to contribute something. And then we, as a state, I think can also provide some resources, working with the hospitals and working with the medical schools and working with the Walmart and the other healthcare providers. And so I'm pretty optimistic that Iowa is in probably a better position than almost any other state. And I believe that we can reduce our healthcare costs. And we're going to do all we can. That's one of the reasons why I've chosen to lead by example. And the Lieutenant Governor and I and others are going to be contributing 20% to our healthcare costs starting August 1. And we hope that others will follow suit. We think there's a lot that we can do together. But I just think we would be foolhardy to do what we did before with the No Child Left Behind and buy into a federal program that we know is unsustainable and unaffordable and won't work. We need instead to put together one that works for our state.
In terms of you were talking with the House Armed Services Committee on Thursday, how are you chosen to speak with them?
Well, I am co-chair of the Governor's Council, which is appointed by the President. There's 10 governors that serve on the Governor's Council that advise the Pentagon on issues involving the National Guard and Homeland Security. And we meet with them on a regular basis. The other co-chair is Governor Gregor from the state of Washington. And so that's the reason why I was selected. I work very closely with Tim Moore, our Adjutant General, and also the Adjutant General from the state of Washington. So there are 10 governors on this, but as co-chairs, we have been the most active. We've been involved in a lot of conference calls. almost on a weekly basis over the last 6 months. And part of it is our concern about the future of the Air National Guard and the fact that the Obama budget presented by the Pentagon, we think adversely affects Air Guard, and that there's a better alternative, which was endorsed by 49 governors, to do that. And we've been working with our congressional delegation, both Republicans and Democrats in the Senate and in the House, and with the Armed Services Committee in both houses of the Congress. And we're very hopeful that we'll get an alternative approved. And you know that Congressman Losack has played a key role in this, and many of the other members of the Iowa delegation have. They all have, really. So we're very appreciative of that. And my message is that the Guard plays a key role, and it's much more efficient and economical than having it done by the regular Air Force. So when they have to make reductions in their budget, they should do like the Army and the Navy have done, and take a different approach than what the Air Force has recommended.
Anything else you're planning to say?
Well, I haven't prepared the details of my remarks, but I will be working closely with Adjutant General Tim Orr and with Doug Holzer, who is our Washington, D.C. representative on the final remarks. But we've communicated this message pretty consistently over the last several months, and Governor Gregor and I have sent several letters, and we've had several telephone conferences on this subject.
Secretary will be releasing his analysis of the state budget. The auditor will be releasing his state budget after this news conference. Has he provided you with an advanced copy? What's your reaction?
I haven't seen an advanced copy, although I've been told some things. We made significant progress from where it was a couple of years ago, but there are some areas that still need to be improved, and these are ones we have to work out with the legislature. And we're very appreciative of the auditor. I think the auditor, he's a CPA. He tells it like it is. He's been critical of both parties, but I think he has given us honest and good advice and counsel on what needs to be done to make sure that we have a state budget that is sustainable, and we're committed to continuing to work with it.
Back to the top states concept. Months back you had done that announcement here about the letter writing campaign to businesses in other states. Is there any progress from any of that?
Yeah, but we can't, on economic development things, it's up to the businesses to announce when they're going to do something. So we're continuing to work on that, and we're continuing to plan additional trips, and as well as we've not only written letters and emails, but we've also made some strategic economic development trips to different parts of the country as well as internationally, and we're going to continue to do that. But we leave it up to the businesses. Obviously, once they make a decision, we'll be happy to join them or be there at a ribbon cutting. You maybe saw in the video the groundbreaking from CJ up in Fort Dodge. That was one of the companies that we recruited. Both the Lieutenant Governor and I did call on them in South Korea. And they're joining Cargill and that bioscience complex up there. We're hopeful we'll have other companies, and we have called on some others for that complex and for other bioscience. That's an area that's really hot right now, and where we have great opportunity. And just as we are exporting energy, there's all kinds of other products made from corn and soybeans through biosciences that are very exciting, and it's part of helping grow really good jobs and grow the Iowa economy.
President Obama is in town this week. Have you reached out to him to address some of the concerns that you have about healthcare? To talk to him in person while he's in town, and what do you think about his frequent visits to the state?
Well, I tells you that he's in trouble in Iowa. Iowa launched him, and I think Iowa's going to sink him because Iowans really feel betrayed. He ran as somebody who's going to unite the country, and instead he spends all his time attacking. And the latest thing is now he wants to try to divide people one against another based on class warfare. The very people that we need to invest and create jobs are afraid to, because they're afraid their taxes are going to go up. They see the regulatory burdens that EPA has imposed on them and other producers. And so I guess my feeling is the president, as opposed to leading the nation, is instead kind of the campaigner in chief. And, you know, he's a great campaigner and he's a great speech maker, but he's been a terrible leader, and I think we need a change.
Have you attempted to reach out to him?
I certainly have, when I've been given the opportunity, but these have been partisan political trips that he's been making, and I suspect will continue to make, because he knows that he's in trouble in Iowa, and this is a key battleground state. So I think we're going to let the people of Iowa decide whether they think this is the right direction or they want to try new leadership. And I believe we truly need new leadership, because it's not sustainable. And this Medicaid thing we talked about is a good example of this. When you're in a deep hole, the first thing is to quit digging. And we're digging deeper. When you add 17 million people to this entitlement program, which has just been exploding in cost, and is something that's unaffordable and unsustainable, I do not believe the federal government is going to be able to fulfill its promise on this thing. It's starting in 2014, and I know a lot of other governors that feel the same way. Thank you.
There was a conference call this morning by a group highlighting a report relating to a land deal in Tanzania, and they say it builds pressure for Bruce Branstad to step down from the border regions. What's your thoughts on that situation?
I don't know anything about that. I have confidence in Bruce Branstad. I think he's a very good person. I think he's a very charitable, giving person, and I know that he has an interest in helping people in Africa and other places. So I think the facts will prove that out.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you.